Hi guys, welcome to the Python series. My name is Dr. Ashish. I'm one of the junior doctors working in the UK. In this lesson, we will talk about some more operations that I could not talk about in part one. And just to introduce, this is one of the series on Python where you can learn Python from the basics, and this is for anyone who has never written a single line of code in their life. You can just start with the part one of the series and you can learn Python, and then we will learn lots of techniques for data science. We will learn lots of statistical techniques. Then we will learn about artificial intelligence. Then I'll teach you how to create real world products that you can use in the healthcare setting. So let's talk about some more operations in Python. The first one is equal to. So if you want to check equality between two constants or variables, you can use the double equal to sign. And there is also this is keyword, and you can use it instead of this double equal to sign to find out whether two things are equal or not. Keep in mind that if you want to say that 1 is equal to 1, and if you want to confirm that, or if you want to check whether two variables are equal or not, you do not use a single equal to sign, because that is an assignment operator as we discussed in the last video. So you will have to use double equal to sign or the is keyword. So let's execute this first cell, and you can see that the first one is equal to 1 is true, the second one is false, the third one is true again, the fourth one is false. Then there are more operations such as greater than, less than operations, and we can just execute and see how it works. After that, we have greater, lesser than, or equal to operator, where you can use two of these operators together and find out things and compare two variables or constants. After this, you have the not operation, where you can confirm whether a constant is equal to another variable, or another constant is equal to another constant, or another variable is equal to another variable or not. So what you do here, you can see that I have written 3, then exclamation mark, and then equal to. This means not equal to. So 3 is not equal to 2. And the second one is 2 is not equal to 2. Instead of using this exclamation mark and the equal to operator, you can use is not, which is again a keyword, which makes things easy for us. So let's execute this, and you will see that 3 is not equal to 2 is true, and the other outputs are on your screen. The next operation is AND operation. Here you can see that I have written 1 and 4, and in the next line I have written 1 and 1. So you can either use this AND operator, or you can use this AND keyword. What this operation does is it compares both of the values. If both of these values are equal, that is 1 and 4, it will return a positive value or true value. If they are not, it will return a negative value. So let's execute this code in the cell, and you can see that 1 and 4 is 0, that is false value. So in computer science, 0 is false. But in the next line, you can see 1 and 1, and it returns 1, that is a true value. And in computer science, 1 is a true value. The next operation is OR, and this operation compares both of these. If just one of them is a true value or a positive value, it will return a true value. If neither of them is a true value or a non-zero value, then it will return 0. That is false. So when we execute it, it returns 1, that is true. In computer science, 1 is true. So the OR operator works like this. Great. So we have talked about the basic operations in Python. Now I will talk about really important thing in Python, and that is data structures. Now data structures are just ways in which we can store different kind of variables and values in the memory of a computer. And these data structures are really helpful because they help us structure all our values and variables, and they make everything easy so that we can access those values whenever we want. There are 4 standard types of data structures. The first one is list, second one is set, third one is tuple, and fourth one is dictionary. And we will talk about lists in this video. So what are lists? Lists are a collection of same or different types of variables that are clubbed together. How do we define a list? So you can see that I have written a variable that is called myList, and then I am assigning it a list. To make a list, you open these square brackets and then you start putting these values inside it, and this will form a list. So you can see that I have put the string value of my name, then I have put 1, that is an integer, then I have put a float value of 0.4, then I have put another string again, then I have put a boolean value, and all of these will form a list. When we execute this command, you will see that my list has been saved in the memory, and these are all the variables that are stored in the list. If you need to find the length of this list, there is an inbuilt function which is called len, and when you execute this, you'll be able to see what the length of the list is, and it is 5. So there are 5 variables in my list. An important thing to keep in mind is that lists are 0 indexed. Now what is this? Let's talk about index first. So index is the position of an element in the list. Keep in mind that most data structures are 0 indexed. This means that the first element is at position 0 and not at position 1. Okay, so when we look at my list, this string variable or the string value, that is Ashish, it is at position 0 and not at position 1. Okay, then this 1 is at position 1, 0.4 is at position 2, Python is at position 3, and true is at position 4. There is a method which is called index. So when you write the variable name of the list, dot index, and then you put the value, you will be able to retrieve the index of that value. So you can see that Ashish is at 0 index, and we will check the index of Python. So it is at the 3rd index. So it's 0, 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you want to access elements in a list, what you can do is you can use this syntax, which is use the name of the list, then open and close square brackets and put the index of the element that you want to retrieve. For example, if we want to retrieve the first element, what I have done here is I have made a variable that is called first element. Then I have assigned it a value of the first element in this list by using this 0 index. And I have used this equal to operator to assign this value to the first element variable. So let's execute this. And after this, what I have done, I will print this first element. So you can see that it is printing Ashish as the first element. Next, if you want to check the last element in the list, then you can either manually go and count the index number of the last element. And here I have put it as 4 because the last element is at 4th position. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when I execute it, it will show that it is true. There is another way in which you don't have to count the index number of the last element, and you can just use the index as -1. And this -1 indicates the last element. So this is the index of the last element and it has returned true. And this was the last element. Now, if you want to access multiple elements in a list, what you can do is you can write the list name. Then you have to open the square brackets. Then you write the first index. Then you use the same semicolon, and then you write last index, and you will get the values till last index minus 1. Now what do I mean by this? So let's print this value from 0 to 3, right? So it has returned me Ashish 1 and 0.4. So this Ashish was at position 0, then 1, and then this was at second position. So what it has returned is values from 0 to 2 and not till 3. So it returns till the last index minus 1. In order to return all the values till the last element, what we can do is we can just write the first element here, the first index here, that is 0, then put semicolon, and then what you can do is you can just leave it blank, so you don't have to specify the last element, and Python will automatically print all the values till the last element. You can also just use the semicolon and Python will print whole of this list from the starting to the last index. You can also leave the first element blank or the first index blank, and you can specify the last index. Here in this case I have used 2, so it will return 0 and 1 value. So let's see what it returns. So it has returned the 0 index and the first index values. Now if you want to add elements to the list, what you can do is you can use an element, a method that is called append. Now this append method is a list method, and you just have to write the name of the list dot append, and then you have to write the value that you need to put in that list. So we'll execute this. So first of all, it will print my list, then it will append value 12, and then it will print my list again. So you can see that 12 has been added to my list. You can also use this square bracket syntax. So what you have to do, you have to write the variable name of the list. Then you will put minus 1 index, that is the last index, and then you can assign it to any value. And where here we have used a string value as last. So what it will do, it will just add this last string value to the last index of this list. So when we print this list again, here you can see that the list is a bit longer now, and we have added this last string to the list. If you want to add an element at a specific position, then you can use this dot insert method. And in the first argument, you'll have to put the index where you want to insert this element, and in the next argument, you'll have to put the value that you need to insert at the particular index. So here I am inserting this string at the first index. So if we print the list again, you will see that it has been added to the first index. So 0 is Ashish, first is this. If you want to replace an element in a list, then what you can do is you can just use the square bracket syntax again. And in the first index, what I've done, I have changed its value to new, and it's a string type element. So if we print this list now, so you will see that the first index is this new string, and it is not this string now, right? If you want to remove an element from list, then you can use this remove method, and you just need to put the value that you need to remove. So let's execute this. So you will see that the value new is removed from the first index. All right. There is also another way, and that is to use the Dell keyword. So when you use Dell and then you tell the index what you need to remove, it will remove all those values from that list. So if we print this list again, so I will just write it again, and we will see what it has removed. So because I have just executed it twice, now it has removed all the elements from the second index till the last index. So I'm just left with 2 of these now. If you want to remove all the items from the list, then you can use this .clear method. So you have to use the name of the variable of that list, and then you use .clear method and it will clear everything. I'm not executing this because it will clear my list. Now, if you want to pop an element from the list and show it on the screen, then you can use this .pop method, and in this you have to again open the square brackets and use the index number that you want to pop. So it's actually not square brackets. I'll just change it. It is round brackets. So when you execute this, so it will pop out the first element that was at 0th index, and that is Ashish. Now if you print the list again, then Ashish will be popped out of this list, and this list is comprising of just one value. Now if you want to insert this again at the 0th index, then you can use the insert method again, and we will see that Ashish has been again inserted at the 0th index. If you want to count elements in a list, then you can use this count method, and you have to specify what value you want to count. So you will see that Ashish is just occurring once in this list, so it will return 1. Now that's lots and lots of list methods. You do not need to memorize all of these. You just need to know that they are present, and you can use these whenever you will require these in your projects. And you can always go to Google or check the Python documentation, and you'll be able to find all these methods. So you don't have to memorize these. Do not be scared. The next operation is sorting a list. So let's define a new list which is called fruits, and I have added all these strings to this list. Now if you want to sort this in alphabetical order, and I'm just sorting it in ascending alphabetical order, so what it will do, it will sort this list, and if we print this list again, you can see that all of these have been sorted in alphabetical order. If you want to sort it in descending alphabetical order, then you can use this argument which is inside the sort method, and it is reverse, and you can equate it to true. So when we do that, and when we print the list of fruits again, you will see that it has been reversed and it is in descending alphabetical order. There is also another way through which you can just reverse a list, and it's called dot reverse, and it is one of the methods. So what it will do, it will just reverse the list. So if we execute this, you will see that the list has been reversed again. If you execute it again, you'll be able to see that it has been reversed from the previous state again. After this, there is another method which is called .copy, and you can use this to copy a list to another variable. So what I've done is I've created a variable called fruits_copy, and what I want to give it is all the values that are present in this fruits list. So I've used this .copy method on my fruits list, and all the values have been copied to this fruits_copy variable, and you can just print this fruits_copy, and you will see that all the values have been copied, and this is a new list now. The last one is an important method, and this is for joining two lists. So let's create another list, and this is fruits_2, and I've given some string values inside this list. So if you want to create a new list that is by the name of merged list, you can just write merged list equal to fruits plus fruits_2, and when you print this, you will get the merged list. You can also use the extend method to add a new list to the original list. For example, let's print this fruits list first. So what I will do, I'll just write this and I will print this. So you will see that I have printed fruits, and then I have written this command which is called fruits.extend and the list that you want to extend it with. when we execute this command and then we see the fruits list again, you will see that the original fruits list is now a longer one, and both of these lists have been merged, and this has been done by the extend method. So that was a lot to take, and I totally get that you might be feeling a bit scared, but you do not need to feel scared. You do not have to memorize all of these. You just need to know that these are present so that you can go to Google and you can always find these methods whenever you want to do things for your projects. I hope that you are coding side by side. I hope that you're learning, and lists are really important data structures. So it's very important that you get good at managing lists. After lists, we will talk about dictionary in part 3. So I will see you soon there, and keep coding, keep returning back to the code so that you can understand it better. Also, there are multiple resources on the internet that you can check out. You can check out the Python official documentation if you want to know more about lists, and just keep on learning and you will be okay. You will be able to master all of these things well. So I will see you soon. Thanks a lot for watching.